Hello. You're listening to Three Family Members. We're talking sports. We're talking ball. We're having a little family banter and we're having a ball. This is the podcast Butterball. Hi, I'm Scott.
Hey y'all, I'm Nicole. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Butterball Podcast. We post clips on there and other fun things. So follow us on Instagram at Butterball Podcast.
And I'm Drew. You can subscribe to us on YouTube at Butterball Podcast or listen to us on Spotify. Just search Butterball.
All right, let's follow up with the NHL Playoffs first. Last week when we looked in, there was a couple series I think that had to finish, so they did. We're down to the Final Four now. We've got the Avalanche and the Knights that are meeting on one half that's the Eastern Conference, right? That's the Eastern Conference.
Knights are West.
Oh, okay, Western Conference. Thanks for correcting me. And they're both number one seeds. So what's your take on that? I think originally we all thought the Avalanche should be the team to beat, but anything changed for you?
No, that's pretty much how I thought it would go. Colorado took care of Minnesota pretty well, made the Stars look pretty bad, which I don't like. And then Vegas handled Anaheim, which I kind of thought so too. So this side really didn't surprise me much.
The Hurricanes have been sitting around waiting to see who between the Sabres and the Canadiens would win that series finally. It got decided last night. It was an overtime thriller, and the Canadiens won. Once again, the Canadiens won with fewer shots on goal, but they got the job done. So now they get to go up against the Hurricanes, who are heavily favored in that series too. What do you think? Think the Hurricanes are going to take it in 4, or you think they're going to make them work for it a little bit?
I don't know. I can't remember my prediction from last time. I think I had the Sabres beating the Canadiens, but I'm glad the Canadiens won because I really like this Canadiens team. They have a lot of short kings who I love to root for. So I would love to see Montreal win again, but that Carolina team's so good. I wouldn't be surprised if we get 2 sweeps on each side, and it's Carolina, Colorado in the final.
When you look at the betting sites, and I took a look at FanDuel yesterday, in addition to some others, but in FanDuel they had the Avs as the heavy favorite, and then the Hurricanes right behind them, and then Vegas and the winner of the Montreal Canadiens one their odds were much less down the line. So the Avalanche and the Hurricanes are by far the favorites to go to the Stanley Cup final, and that's probably what we'll see. And I think that'd be a great final. Those two teams meet up.
It would, especially the way that Carolina's handled everyone so far.
Yeah.
And so has Colorado. I think that would probably be the odds-on favor for the matchup, like you said, and that would probably be the best final.
Speaking of short kings,
oh, go ahead.
Drew, I thought of you recently. So I was watching the Texas Stars play their playoff games whenever they were playing the Chicago Wolves, and they had 3 guys on their team that were short kings, like noticeably short kings. How tall? Like, do we want to take guesses at how tall they were? I just referenced their roster.
The Wolves or the Stars?
The Wolves. The Stars, everyone's tall. The Wolves had 3 guys that were like noticeably short, and like 2 of them were next to each other all the time, which made it even funnier. But like it was very noticeable to where it was like they've got a couple short kings. I even texted Dad during the game because I was like, they've got some short kings. Drew would love them.
They're probably listed at, I'd guess, 5'8".
But then they're probably 5'7" in real life.
Yeah, they're listed at 5'8", 5'9".
Yeah.
Yeah,
so they were tiny.
Yeah,
they were tiny. I know. I'm like, you could do that, Drew. You're just as big as them.
Yeah. Well, let's see. There has been a few things in hockey news of interest, I think, this week when I was looking. I think, Drew, you brought something to our attention. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So I noticed it's scrolling through Twitter, but like this happens every year. This is nothing new. After a team gets eliminated from the playoffs, you find out about some ridiculous injury that they were battling through the whole time. And it was, I still don't know how to say his name. Cutter, is it Gauthier?
Yeah, Gauthier.
Gauthier.
Yeah.
It was revealed that he had, what did he fracture 2 vertebrae in his back?
Yeah,
Is
the L1
L1
and
and
the
L2?
L2. Yeah, L1,
Yeah.
L2.
He did that towards the end of the season and then returned 2 weeks later and played the entire playoffs with it.
Wait, and he didn't just play, he led him in points.
Yeah, he played
I
really
mean,
well.
you know, yeah, it wasn't like he was just limping through it. He was like leading the team in goals and assists. He had 12 points in 12 games. L1, L2, for those that don't know, is kind of your mid back. It's at the start of your lower back. It's where your ribs meet the lower back. So,
Why are you explaining this like you're a doctor? Like you know everything.
well, because I'm sure people think L2, L1, L2, they think, well, is that in the neck? Is it in the lower
No,
back?
that is
Where
C.
is it? You know? Yeah, okay. All right. See, that's why. See, none of us are doctors. So,
Cervical neck, cervical spine, and your lumbar spine.
yeah, you're bringing in your,
Well, and the only reason we know any of this is because Dad and I both have disc issues in our back. So I
you know,
understand how you hurt L1 and L2. That like, how do you injure that?
I
It
don't know.
was a
Maybe it was
cross check.
maybe he
Is a
got,
cross check?
Mhm.
oh, it was?
Mhm.
That's the
Cross check?
only way that you could injure something like that is like direct impact. Like that is
Yeah,
like the most random spot in your
Well, he
back.
could. I mean, you never know. Maybe he'd fall down, fall into the goal, and wrap his back around the goal, or run
Well,
into the
yeah, but like,
boards, or you
yeah,
know. I
those
mean,
aren't your ones where you would like be stressing your discs out or anything. Yeah, those types of. That's just the most random spot in your back, right in the middle.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
I probably should have sent you that video too, but the Ducks fans online went back and found it, and there's the video of the injury, and then he ends up leaving the game, which kind of identified it, and it was a cross check right to the back.
wow. It's kind of amazing that they kept it as quiet. Kept it quiet like that. Usually, like in pro sports, you have to disclose what the injury is to a degree. I mean, maybe they just said he has an upper body injury or something like that. I don't know.
They, I feel like that's got to be a loophole in the NHL rules because they do it all the time. They'll just
Yeah,
say something like leg injury or upper body injury, like you said, and just leave it at that, and they're allowed to play through it.
yeah. Well, we know those guys are tough, man. They'll play through whatever. There was another story that I saw. It was pretty brief. You remember the coach of the Miracle on Ice, Herb Brooks?
Mm-hmm.
Coaches do not receive gold medals. So he never got a medal or anything like that when he coached the team to the gold medal, but he did get gifted to him a ring. And it was kind of like a Super Bowl ring or whatever. It had USA on it, and it had like 5 diamonds kind of in the shape of the Olympic rings. And that was sold at an auction by his family trust, and it got $549,000 at auction.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they sell it?
Well, maybe they were raising money for a cause or something. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah, I did see that. I don't know why they sold it either, but it was a really cool rig.
yeah,
It had all of their game scores on it, and the two big ones were on the side. Had some neat designs. And yeah, what'd you say, 5 diamonds in it? It was pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah. It was a pretty neat look. So yeah, so playoffs continue, hockey continues, and that's that for this week. The NBA playoffs, I think we mentioned last week, they're down to the final four. So those series are getting started now. You got the Thunder playing the Spurs and the Cavaliers playing the Knicks. And that's about all I know. I don't really, I don't watch much of the games, so I don't know a lot what's going on. I don't know who won last night, did the Thunder or the Spurs? Do you know?
The Spurs won. That's all I heard. That's all I know. Thanks, folks.
Okay. All right.
Nice.
Well, we'll keep checking in to see who might make the final there and see if it gets interesting. We figured we'd check in on Major League Baseball since we're about a quarter into the season now, and just to get a read on if the division races are lining up kind of like we thought we would. We thought they would anyway. So let's talk about that a little bit. In the American League East, the Tampa Bay Rays are out to a super hot start, and they lead that division. And following them, you got the Yankees 3 games back, and then Blue Jays, Orioles, and Red Sox all between 9 and 11 and a half games back. So we would have said, I think at the beginning of the year, didn't we say the Yankees will probably win this division? Yeah.
And I know you you had very strongly advocated for the Orioles and Red Sox who are in 4th and 5th place.
Kind of missed that one. Well, and who would have thought that the Red Sox would go into a season and fire their entire staff, not even a quarter into the season? I mean,
Yeah.
what's that? What is that? What kind of preparation is that? That makes zero sense to me. I don't get it.
I mean, their manager was Alex Cora, who is notoriously part of the Astros cheating scandal. Maybe they found him cheating, got rid of him early, wasn't working out so much for him.
Well, do a little research in the off season. Don't go into the season with a plan of, hey, whatever happens in the first 20 games, we might have to fire this entire staff. That seems crazy. I mean, that can't be.
Well, okay. On a related note, I was hearing, so yeah, you don't need the whole backstory. I heard regarding the Texas Tech quarterback gambling issue thing. This is what I heard. I heard updates to this story through the rumor mill, so who knows how much of this is true. But through my connections and people that I work with, everybody's saying that I guess the issue of him gambling was like years old. Cincinnati knew about it the whole time and whatever. And then just now that he signed to Texas Tech, then it came to light. And so he wasn't even doing it actively now, that was like a few years ago, and that Cincinnati knew about it and didn't say anything and whatever. That's what I heard of the Texas Tech quarterback gambling issues.
Okay. So
It's
how are
kind
you?
of similar.
Wait,
How does it relate?
We were talking about baseball?
I know, but how does it
Well,
relate? How does
yes.
it relate?
Yeah.
You
Tie the
said-
two together. Bring it together now.
So you said, if you knew about him cheating and you wait till the start of the season, wait till the season's already going and then it comes out. Well, it's allegedly what they basically were doing with this quarterback as well. Is they knew that he had the gambling shit and they still didn't do anything about it. And then it just now kind of blew up in their case before the season, but still.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I was also just kind of making that up. I don't think anyone can prove that.
Can prove what? Oh, really?
That he was still cheating, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
About the Texas Tech player guy. So back to my stuff that I want to talk about.
Well,
so one of my
hey, we're
We're never
going
going to make it
right
past
now.
the American League East.
Can I just get one more thing out about that issue? So one of my coworkers said, I think this is just an astronomically terrible take. She said she thinks that Texas Tech should sue him, the quarterback, for breach of contract because he didn't tell them about this stuff. And she says they should sue him for breach of contract because they legally can to get the $5 million of NIL money back to be able to put it towards someone else.
I'm sure he hasn't got all that money yet. He might
way.
have. Yeah, he might have signed a contract, but they're not going to pay him $5 million up front. So
even if they did pay him $5 million up front, I think that's just an absolutely ridiculous thing to do.
Well, I think anymore they're starting to probably write things into the contract to try to make sure that when they invest in somebody that they're going to be there. I know a guy who has a grandson that was just recruited, and they're asking to sign for a 2-year agreement. They don't want somebody to just come in and leave right away. So
Ooh, that's
it's just like I would assume it's like any professional sports league where there's kind of a clause where if you break the school's code of conduct or maybe the NCAA's code of conduct, then you don't get that money.
You don't get the money. Yeah.
Right.
Why did that never cross my mind that they could just write it into these contracts now that the kids have to stay? Doesn't that negate the whole transfer portal stuff that we've been talking about?
Well, no, I mean, yes and no. I mean, because the way they'll write it is, we're going to pay you $500,000 a year, but if you leave after a year, then you need to pay back the $500,000. So, the person's going to make, they're going to make $1 million if they stay for 2 years, but if they leave after a year, they're going to make nothing because they're going to have to pay it back.
That's how you get around the transfer portal being an issue for your program, right? Is you just start writing that into all of your contracts.
Yeah, so at least you got them for 2 years. It just depends
Why
on what
not write
everybody
it for
else is
3?
doing.
Why not write it for 4 years at that
Because
point?
it'll depend on what everybody else is doing. Because if all the other teams only do it for
money.
2,
offer them more money.
I'm sure
they're going to come up with it.
I'm sure they're all following what each other does and trying to one up each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
give the breaks or whatever. It's highly competitive, so it's going to continue to be that way. All right, so back to baseball. So, okay, we just talked about American League East. The Central has Cleveland in the lead. The White Sox are 1 game back, and then the Twins, Tigers, and Royals are all between 4.5 and 5.5 back. So we do have a surprise in this division as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I was advocating hugely for the Tigers and Royals, and now they're in 4th and 5th place.
Right. And you got Cleveland, who won it. They won it last year, right? And we kind of figured they might drop off a little. And then, of course, the White Sox were horrible. And so for the White Sox to be only 1 game out right now, they've started out pretty decent. It's only a quarter into the season, so long ways to go, but definitely a surprise there.
And the Tigers lost their ace pitcher, Scooble, as well. So I don't really see them bouncing back from this.
Well, at least they're only, all those teams aren't too far apart from each other yet, so they're all kind of bunched up. And then
I
the
saw
West.
the coolest Tigers hat the other day, and I really wanted to buy it, but I'm not a Tigers fan. And then also, I really like the Guardians logo with the G that has the wings in front of the baseball.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not a Guardians fan either. So what do I do? Do I buy the hat even though I'm not a fan, or what?
That's what I do.
You can, I mean,
it feels so random.
Yeah. Well, if you like the colors and the design. What was the Tigers hat? Because normally they just have the D. So what was this one?
It was kind of cool. It's like not traditional at all. It had 3 different tigers on it, like an actual tiger in 3 different colors. You wouldn't like it, but I like it.
So it was loud, very loud.
It wasn't necessarily loud, but it just it looked cool. It was like it had swag.
Okay.
You could never pull it off.
Yeah, I wouldn't. No. Give me some colored shoes, I'm fine, but not a swaggy hat. That's not my look.
Yeah, it was more my speed, which I would rock it. And now I kind of want to go back and buy it.
All right. Well, okay, let's move on to the American League West. Nicole, I think, said, hey, those A's are a sleeper team, right? Didn't you say that from the start?
Yeah, I did.
And they're in the lead right now. And then you got the Rangers.
You laughed at me. You guys laughed at me, thought that I came in with no good information, and would you look at that?
There you go. And the Rangers are 1 game back. Seattle's 2, Astros 5, and our poor Angels are 7.5 back. And then you, Drew, just informed me that the Angels have the worst record in baseball right now, right?
They do. This is also the weakest division in baseball.
Yeah. Well, man, looks like the year's already kind of writing itself out, kind of like we expected for the Angels anyway. And we'll see these other teams fight it out. I mean, they got a 3-team race at the top there right now, so that could be interesting to watch. National League in the East, the Braves are way out front right now. And the Phillies, Nats, Miami, and Mets are all trailing anywhere from 8 to 11.5 games. So the Braves have just lurched out in front of everybody. And I think you kind of expected that, didn't you, Drew? Didn't you say the Braves were the team?
I did, yeah. They had a bunch of injuries last year, which is why they were so bad. But like the years before, they were in the favorites to be in the World Series if it wasn't for the Dodgers. So I knew they were going to be pretty dang good.
Well, they're starting it off right because, I mean, an 8-game lead only a quarter into the season's pretty big, for a team. So that's a dang good start. Yeah, absolutely. The Central Division, the Cubs are leading in the Central, followed by the Brewers and Cards. They're both 1 game back. And then the Pirates and Reds are both 5 games back. I think this one we believed would be probably the Cubs or the Brewers.
Yeah. He's getting louder.
You got a cat in your closet there or what?
I think he's downstairs.
Are you sitting on him?
Just likes to be heard.
I'm actually going to see the Brewers. Louder. I'm actually going to see the Brewers this Friday in Milwaukee. Brewers and Dodgers.
What?
Yep.
Why are you in Milwaukee?
Go and watch the Brewers and Dodgers.
Why?
Because that's where they're playing.
Dad, can you really answer the question? Why are you going to Milwaukee?
We're going to visit back in the Midwest. So we figured
You
we'd
always do the cool stuff when I'm not there.
well, I'm sorry, but it's a friends trip. We're meeting our buddies and their wives there and going and spending some time there in
Well,
Milwaukee.
did you know that Milwaukee was on my list? It's on my list of places I want to go now because I was watching Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and they go to Milwaukee and they go to the beer caverns or whatever and it looks really freaking cool.
Yeah, Milwaukee's a fun town and we're going to have a good time. We're going
It
there on
looks
Friday,
fun.
going to the game, and then Saturday we're going to run around and hit some spots. So it
And
should
go
be
to
a
the
good time.
the beer caves or whatever.
Well, maybe. I mean, there's
I cannot imagine a world where you guys don't go to the beer caves.
we just might have to. We just might have to. But our friend Billy Nutt's a big Dodger fan, so he wanted to see the Dodgers.
Everyone
playing
who doesn't know Billy Nutt is gonna laugh their asses off when they hear you say his nickname.
Oh, good. All right. And then in the West, those Dodgers are out into the lead, just like we thought they would be. The Padres are only a half game back, though. So
They're
starting
actually a half game up since you made that list now.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you got the Dodgers, the Padres battling it out, and then Arizona, San Francisco, and Colorado are all trailing by 6 games or more there. No surprise there, right? It's kind of what we
That's
thought.
what I like to see from my new favorite team.
Your new favorite team, the Padres. Did you send in your bandwagon request? Is it all you officially did that?
No, I haven't officially filled it out.
Oh, okay. Any other baseball news that you've seen recently?
Nothing crazy yet.
I forgot it. Well, never mind. Y'all won't want to talk about this, but there's a new hockey TV show out right now, and so hockey's just really getting its moment in the pop culture world.
Olympic year, you win Olympic gold, both men's and
That's
women's.
not
and
why, but yeah.
You don't think so? It's a good sport
I
too.
mean,
Yeah. Well, go ahead. Talk about it. Talk about it.
Nah,
then we'll move on.
y'all wouldn't care. Y'all wouldn't care. But there's this show on Amazon Prime. It's called Off Campus, and it's a hockey romance. It was adapted from a book, so it's a whole book series. Which now I have to read all of the books. But they just made it into a show, and it's like killing it. It's #1 on Amazon Prime, and it's like all over my social media right now, and all that anybody is talking about.
Okay. Is it battling out Euphoria and all the other top series?
Euphoria season 3, to be honest, no one's really talking about Euphoria season 3. I feel like
Really?
everyone's kind of like over Euphoria season 3. And I didn't see him promoted as much. Yeah, like that one just like didn't hit the same for me. So yeah, and right now Off Campus is what like the major show is.
Huh. Okay.
But y'all would not like it, so don't bother watching it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now I'm going to watch it now just because you said that, but
No, I would much prefer it if you didn't watch it.
Okay. So, in some other news, there in college football news, Drew, Oklahoma State hit the college football news. Did you see their big headline for the week? Story about Oklahoma State?
Was it because we were ranked the #1 transfer team? Was that it?
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I have some things to say here. So I met somebody else who went to Oklahoma State, and they were talking about how, UNT, I don't really like them because they stole our coach and all of our players. And they looked at me and they said, "That's probably how you feel about USC, huh?"
Yeah, I'm sure that's how people feel. Get
No,
used
we
to it. 'Cause
stole
it's just gonna keep happening.
UNT's coaches and players.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Oh, yeah,
Oklahoma
I said it
State.
backwards, but
Yeah. So Oklahoma State they're going to go into this season with 85 first season players at Oklahoma State. 85. I mean,
Basically the
normally,
entire roster.
in their roster limit, their rosters are limited now to 105 players. So 85 of them are brand new this year. They
Yeah.
got 20 repeat. I've never seen anything like that before. That's crazy.
no, we've seen it before. Like Baylor men's basketball a couple years ago had like every single guy leave their team. Do you remember? Graduate,
Yeah.
get drafted, or transfer.
Yeah, but at least
Basketball,
that's
it's a lot
only
easier
15
to
It's
do
not,
that.
I know
Yeah,
it's
not 100.
smaller, but still.
Yeah, yeah. So, but what you'll see though with college football is when a coach leaves, a lot of his players will follow him, and that also it helps the coach because they need to establish their culture, and they need those guys with them. to do that. So
And
that's
we're
what's
all just
happening.
fine with it.
Back, baby. We're
Every
back.
well, we'll see. Iowa State's also they're probably number 2 or close to it because didn't they had like 60 guys leave or something like that. But yeah, but there was an article on ESPN that was talking about Oklahoma State and 85 new and how the coaches basically were saying like what a whirlwind their first month was on campus. Like they had their very first meeting to speak to the players and hardly anyone was there. They were like, "Where is everybody?" And their guy was like, "This is it, coach. I'm sorry, but this is what you
Yep.
got." So they were like, "Woof, they're gonna have some work to do."
This is
So
unlocking a memory for me. I remember right after Gundy got fired, or did he willingly fire himself, or did he like fully get fired? I can't even remember anymore.
He got
they had
fired basically.
he had a contract. They wanted him to resign, and
I
he had
thought
a
he knew like I'm out.
Well, they wanted him to retire, and he was like, "No, I'm still under contract for 3 more years because they got to
Oh,
pay him."
okay.
So
Okay.
so then they said,
So
"Okay, well, no."
anyway, so whenever he like got fired, then I remember like his son, does he have a grandson? I don't know. Whoever that was like a young kid posted like we're having a selling all of these Oklahoma State official polos, like $20 each, whatever, like some of them are brand new with tags or whatever. And it was like a whole rack of like all of these Oklahoma State clothes that were clearly just like given to him.
I
And
think that
I'm
was
like,
Gunner. He was
how
also
do we?
transferring schools though.
So you think they were all of his polos, not Mike's polos?
I think they were
Or do you
his.
think
He
it
was
was
on the
all of
team.
their combined clothes?
Gunner was on the team and played for the team and then transferred schools.
Because I feel like it's just morally in that case, like, why are you selling something that was given to you for free?
Sour grapes. I don't know. I mean,
Well, when you make billions of dollars, not really, but like when you make that much money and you get gifted everything under the sun, why don't you just like donate that to the nearest,
yeah, yeah,
whatever it may have you?
yeah. I mean, there isn't. There's probably no coaching there's probably no university that wouldn't end their coach's tenure the way Oklahoma State did to Gundy. I mean, it's going to happen everywhere. I mean, if you stop winning
Yeah.
and they want you to leave, then they're going to tell you to leave, I mean, and, if you have a contract and they have to pay you to leave, then do that because that's just the way it will work, and it's just a fact of the way the contracts they sign these guys to and the way they structure everything. I mean, because normally
Yeah.
what they were doing in the past was, they'd have like a 5-year contract, and every year, if they finished well, it would just auto renew for another year. So they always had 5 years on their contract because, from a recruiting standpoint, they didn't want them to be at a disadvantage because other programs will say, well, you don't even know if your coach is going to be there through your whole
Mhm.
time there. Well, now nobody cares because they don't even know if the players are going to be there longer than a year. I mean, so it's just changed so much. It's crazy. Any other news in the sports that you all saw or heard that you want to talk about?
Oh, Conor McGregor is making his return after 6 years. Did you see that? He'll be fighting in July.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's gonna fight Max Holloway, so I'm excited for that one.
So help me out. Has Max Holloway fought recently, or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Holloway never really stopped fighting. His last fight, he got beat. His last 2 fights, he's actually got beat. So this is gonna be kind of a redemption fight for him too. I'd have to look it up. They fought each other before, and I think McGregor won, but that was a long, long time ago
So
now.
so who's promoting the fight? It's not UFC, is it
Yeah,
somebody else?
it's UFC.
It is. It's
Mm,
like, what was the Ronda Rousey Gina Carano fight? That wasn't a UFC
mm-mm.
fight, was it?
That one was different. That
That
was
was Jake. That was a Jake Paul or a Jake
that was
Paul thing, right?
MVP. That was Jake Paul's business, yeah. And that
Yeah.
one, did you guys watch any of that one?
Well, I mean, I saw
I
the
didn't.
highlights, all 17 seconds of it. So
Well,
yeah,
the entire card was like that.
really,
The entire main card, there was only one fight that went out of the first round,
really.
and it got stopped in the second. It was that Nate Diaz fight that he got too bloody, they had to stop it.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
Wow.
So
Well,
I watched all of that. That was kind of underwhelming.
yeah. Well, it was just interesting too that that Gina Carano, she hadn't fought in what, 17 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time. That's a long layoff in MMA, and then to come in and want to fight.
Rousey hadn't fought in 10
Yeah, yeah,
ish, 10-ish.
yeah, yeah. She got suckered into the old armbar right off the bat.
That was her last UFC win. Was the exact same way. I think it was like 18 seconds win by an armbar.
Yeah.
So Gina probably should have saw that coming. Honestly, that's on her for falling into that trap.
Yeah, exactly.
The Athletes Unlimited Softball League is about to start up here pretty soon, and that might be pretty cool. Might be something that you all want to watch and pay attention to.
So who plays in the Athletes Unlimited Softball League?
So Athletes Unlimited Softball League is like it's a newer. Last year I believe was the first year that they were doing it, and it's really like a professional league. So they like have drafted, like players that were like there's one girl that played at Texas, or multiple that played at Texas, but like one big name, her name's like Mia Scott, I think, that played at Texas, that's on the Texas Volts, is like one of the teams. And then they also just got to the Texas Volts this year in the draft. They got a couple of big names. One of them though is that girl that was at Stanford and then transferred to Texas Tech, and she's like the girl known for having like the largest NIL deal ever or whatever. Or yes. Yeah, the pitcher. And so she's on the Texas Volts now. So they're like fully running this thing, putting a lot into it. They're playing like at the minor league ballpark around here. And so it looks like it's going to be a very well organized event. I went to one of the games last year, had a great time. Because softball is a little bit more fast paced than baseball. And they just clearly put a lot into the event. I can't remember if it was 7 innings even as well. Like it was cool. It was lively. They had a lot going on, and that's starting up again soon. So it'll be on ESPNU and a few other places that you can watch it. And they're playing at multiple stadiums around the country. They've got multiple teams. So that's another thing to just keep an eye out for if you're looking for something to watch. Athletes Unlimited Softball League looks pretty dang cool.
Okay, so I got an interesting sports story to tell you. This a memory of mine from, if you participate in sports long enough, something crazy is going to happen sometime. I had just moved to my new high school, sophomore year, was starting on the varsity football team as a sophomore. So it was a really big moment for me in my, sports career or whatever. It's really exciting, and I can't wait for our first game. So we go to our first game, and team we're playing is better than us. We're getting beat around pretty good in the first half. We come out for the second half, and all of a sudden you hear this big and all the lights went out in the stadium. It's totally dark. So we're kind of standing there around going, what the heck's going on here? And it wasn't like somebody just leaned on a switch or something. They couldn't figure it out right away. So they sent us all back to the locker rooms. And so, we go back to the locker rooms, and at the time we had the ball. It was 3rd and 5, and we have the ball. So we go back to the locker room, and our coach is trying to, he's trying to rally the team and figure out what we're going to do when we go back out there for when they get the lights on. And so asking all the players, trying to ask the offensive linemen, well, do you have a guy head up on you? And offensive lineman, yeah, I got one on me. He'd ask another one, you got somebody on you? Yeah. You got somebody on you? Yeah. And finally he just looks at everybody and goes, well, then that's it. They have 12 guys on the field. We only have 11, So I'm sitting there going, well, we're really not solving problems here, right now, trying to do it this way. But so then he kind of gets past that. He just quits asking those questions because he figured he wasn't going to get a straight answer. And he's just trying to figure out, well, what play is going to be a good play to run on this 3rd and 5. And there was a student manager. He was a freshman, and he was sitting there, along with the team and everything. And he goes, "Hey, coach, why don't you try that quick pass over the middle of the tight end?" And the coach turns around, and his face turns like beet red, and he just looks at the kid, and he just goes, "Why don't you just take care of the water, and I'll take care of calling the plays, okay?" And the student manager was like, "Okay, whatever," and just kind of sat back down. And I'll give you one guess as to what play we ran when the lights came on and we went back out there. What play do you think?
Pass to the tight end.
That's what we did. That's the play we ran. It didn't work.
Did it
No,
work?
we
Oh.
didn't. We ended up,
I was
but it
gonna
was
say if it worked, that kid was about to like go into coaching immediately.
it was that
He
it
was
was
gonna think he
actually
was
a
a shit.
it was actually a great call because we had our tight end was 6'5", 6'6", tall guy, good basketball player, he had good hands. It was a good call for the play that we needed. We just didn't execute. So, lesson to all you coaches out there, listen to whoever. You never know where you might get a good idea from, I mean,
To the
so
student manager.
yeah, but that was
I thought
so
they
that
were gonna like strap the kid up with some pads and see if he could tackle like Bobby Boucher after that.
oh, I can guarantee you that wouldn't have happened, yeah, but no, it was interesting though. 'Cause, yeah, I was like, wow, he made the call, and it was very first game. And the interesting thing was is they also, when we went back out to play, they could only get half the lights to come back on. So when we started playing again, you only had lights from one half of the field, and the other team, we were wearing all white because we were the away team, and the home team, they had black pants, red jerseys, and of course the football's brown. I mean, hell, it was hard to even see the ball when they had it because they ran like a wing tee and they'd run crossing motions and stuff like that, and it was a pretty interesting happening. But yeah, it was my first exposure to Iowa high school football.
That's pretty
Pretty
crazy.
neat story, huh?
That's insane. Hmm. One time, McLean, my good friend, rolled his ankle when we were warming up because he was singing Britney Spears and he wasn't paying attention. And he rolled his ankle doing jumps, which is hilarious because he wasn't even in jumps. So, but like they were part of our warm up routine was to like warm up your jumps. And so when our coach found out that he rolled his ankle, he's like, "Well, what was he doing?" We were like, "Well, we were doing jumps." And he was like, "McLean's not even in jumps." And we're like,
What was
we
he
know.
practicing those for? Yeah.
Yeah, he also McLean, what a homie. He also could not do a somersault. And like that's a very typical thing that we as cheerleaders like choreograph into routines, but we call it a dive roll, but it's really just forward roll. It's just like it gets you quickly from one place to another, looks visually, appealing. And so they were trying to get him to dive roll, probably to the side to walk to the back to avoid jumps. And they were like, all right, now just, do your forward roll. And he couldn't do it. He like flopped over like a child, and couldn't figure out how to do it. And so they could
I
not
do.
choreograph a dive roll in.
Sorry, go ahead,
Nice.
finish. I just
No,
thought of
that's
something.
it.
I do remember one when we were freshmen in high school. We were playing on the freshman baseball team, and at the start of the year, we would like play tournaments. And I can't remember why, but we had like a really early game, and then we didn't play till like super late on a Saturday. So there was no school, there's nothing to come back to. So they brought us back to our school and like dropped us off in the locker room, and we're basically like just hang out here and don't do anything stupid for a couple of hours. Like we have a game to play later.
In the
And
locker room?
a bunch of 14, 15-year-old boys in there with nothing to do. Of course, we started doing something stupid. I think we were like we were like wrestling or like whipping each other with towels, like something really dumb. And our coach walked back in and he got so angry at us. He was like threatening like all the polls that we were gonna run afterwards, like all of the like what was gonna happen to us if we didn't win. And then we ended up playing that late game, and I'm pretty sure we threw a no-hitter against the other team and won. And that made him completely forget about all the trouble we were in before the game.
He forgave you, huh?
Yeah, I
I,
guess so.
I got another good one. I wasn't there for this one though. These are friends of mine that I would have played with that in South Dakota had I went to high school in South Dakota. They were playing a game in a pouring down rain and nobody could score, because it was a slop on the field and everything. At the halftime of the game, the coach was like, basically, I guess this coach was kind of a screamer too. He was like screaming and yelling and, trying to get them all jacked up for the second half or whatever. And he's like, okay, any questions? And one of the guys like raised his hand. And he goes, yeah, hey coach, where are we going to eat after the game? And the coach The coach just like, just goes and spitting everywhere, screaming at these guys. And they go out and they play the second half. Nobody scores. And they go into overtime. And, in overtime in high school, you just go in from the 10, as opposed to in college, you do it from the 25s. And they tried to kick a field goal a couple of times, but the wind was so strong that it kept blowing the field goal out of the way and stuff. And so finally, the coach, the kicker that was trying to kick the field goals, he wasn't getting the job done. So he asked this other kid, who is actually the kid who asked where they were going to eat after the game. He said, "Here's your chance. Make the field goal." And he made the field goal, and they ended up winning the game.
Did he let
So
him
then they
get
said,
to pick
"Where
where
do
to
you
eat?
want to eat after this?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I think after he was like, "Well, I don't care. If you want steak, we'll go get steak," or whatever.
He got to after that. That's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
My thing, you will not understand this, which neither of y'all will. So that's why my stories aren't as good, because y'all don't understand cheerleading. But in cheerleading, we call it a full out. Is like when you do your full routine with all of the skills, and like it's very physically taxing to do all of the things that go into your routine, because the routines are only 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and it's like 4 different tumbling passes, 3 different stunt routines, a pyramid section, a bunch of formation changes. Like it's like a lot of cardio, right? So you usually, like in a typical practice, you only do like a few of these actual full outs, and then you'll just like run sections of the routine, because or else you're just risking a bunch of injury with everybody just like flopping around. So it's like a big deal to do a full out, right? And so, but that's what you do on the competition mat. So my first year on my world's team, so this is when I was a freshman in high school, apparently every day at practice we would do really not that good on the first full out at practice, but for some reason in the second full out that we did at practice, it was better. So for the entire season, our coach made us in warm-ups do a full out before we even got to the competition mat, so that our second full out routine was the actual routine, which that is like literally unheard of for competitive cheer. That is like the most ridiculous, insane thing to do. Like, clip this, put this on Instagram. Any competitive cheerleaders are going to be like, what the hell was going on? Because that's like literally insane to have your team like, tax themselves 5 minutes before they go out there on the actual competition mat. But to be honest, like, I mean, it kind of worked. So
Interesting.
I don't
Yeah.
know. That was
Hey.
insane.
Coach might have knew something about the players. I mean, it's important that
Maybe.
that coaches get to know everything about their players,
Maybe. we probably could have gotten over that hurdle some other way, but hey, it was pretty insane, and I will never forget that, because that is very unheard of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why we love sports. There's always those experiences and the competition, and just having those the interactions with your teammates and with your coaches and stuff. It's what it's all about. You can run into a lot of funny moments. I got plenty more that I'll share other times if we need some filler for anything, because there always seem to be something
Dad
funny
has better
happening.
stories. Dad has the best stories anyway, so ours aren't
All right.
that good.
Well, next week maybe we'll get some stories from your grandpa, my dad, and your aunt, my sister, because we're going to invite them on and ask them a few questions about their sports journey, and what they did, why they did it, what fun they had, what their memories were, whatever. We'll figure out some things to ask them. I think it'll be interesting, because my dad was the one who kind of started the love of sports in our side of the family, so it all started with him.
Yeah, it'll be a fun one.
Yeah. So we'll do that. So until then, you've been listening to Butterball. This is a podcast, 3 family members. We're talking ball. We're having a ball. Thanks for listening, and make sure you subscribe to us.
Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Butterball Podcast. Post clips on there and tons of great stuff. So follow us on Instagram at Butterball Podcast.
And watch and subscribe on YouTube at Butterball Podcast, or you can listen to us on Spotify. Just search Butterball.
All right. We'll see you next week.